What's up, y'all? It's CJ, and we are here tonight for another episode of Love After Lockup. But before we get started, y'all already know what I'm gonna ask you to do. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and like it. And while you're here, also go ahead and tap that subscribe button so you'll be here for everything else I put out. Y'all know I'll give that spiel every video, so just go ahead and do it. And also share this video. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend, because why? We all want to be friends, right? All right. So now that we got all that out of the way, I hope everybody is having a great start to your weekend. I know I am. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, they called this episode the halfway handoff. It's season 3. Episode 40, I think. I'm not sure, because y'all know these episodes run on and on and on and on and on. But anyway, it starts where it left off last week with Lisa. Lisa, she's at the hotel now and she's mad. She's mad because of the way that Stan talked to her. I mean, he went off. He was very disrespectful. Called her a bad mom and said that his kids wouldn't do what her kids did because he raised them right and she didn't. Excuse me. Y'all blame it on the White Claw. I don't know. These things are just so good to me. I love them. I love them. But anyway, you know, she's still kind of dumbfounded by Stan's actions. Stan did show his butt. I mean, if that's how he is going to be, then they definitely should not be together, because, you know, she looked like she probably about that life, and she might pop Stan in the mouth one night, and then, you know, you back in jail for assaulting the elderly or elderly abuse or whatever. So, yeah, they might not need to be together. But anyway, it's the next morning and Stan's boy rolls up because Stan's not answering his phone. He probably came by to make sure that Lisa didn't rob him and, you know, take all his money and drive away. But he just claims he was coming by to check on him. And he gets there and Stan's outside in his pajamas, wiping off the Mustang and everything. And so he kind of wants to know what happened. He thought that, you know, maybe Stan had a really good night last night, but it was the exact opposite. So he tells his boy what happened, and his boy does agree that, yeah, that was a little out of line what you said. You got to admit, you know, you were a little wrong for that. And I'm glad that his friend just didn't agree with him, you know, that he did kind of make him see the error in what he said. Not to say that it was completely his fault, because she knew, you know, what he was expecting, even if it was just, you know, I don't know. We know Stan was ready to get down. We know Stan was ready to, you know, rumble in the jungle, but Lisa wasn't on that because, you know, she was thrown off by her son's phone call. But he just said, you know, she didn't show him any affection at all. She didn't even seem like she wanted to be there. But, I mean, I guess due to the circumstances, I guess he had to understand that. But we see Lisa again, and she goes to the hairdresser, and she's got this big-ass box of, like, blonde, like, weave and these bundles or whatever. And I guess she's going to get some extensions. She says that she's ready to ditch the stud look. And those were her words, not mine. She called herself, you know, she said that the stud look was a hit back in prison. And I guess people aren't really feeling it on the outside, primarily Stan. So she's getting her hair done. So it looked awful. It looked horrible to me. And it looked like she had some, like, braids, like some tiny braids, and then the rest of, like, the extension was just, like, down. But it looked bad as hell to me. She probably should have called Nicole's hairdresser and let her hook her up, because Nicole, it's a fly in here, y'all, and it is like, I guess it wants some camera time, and it's really, like, it's about to bother me, and I apologize right now because y'all probably see it flying in the camera, and it's gonna distract me. I can't live life like this. But anyway, you know, Stan does call, and like she said he would, and he wants a do-over. I guess he's feeling kind of bad about what he did, what he said, and he wants to talk to her and wants to apologize. So she agrees to meet him. He makes reservations at this restaurant, and she shows up like an hour later. And I guess, you know, she had her freakum dress on. She wanted him to see her kind of glow up a little bit, and he's asking her, you know, how she been, you know, where has she been or whatever. And she's been staying at the hotel or at the motel, and she tells him that he's gonna reimburse her for staying there, and he agrees to do it. I mean, he, you know, I guess he feels responsible for her leaving in the first place, and they kind of talk it out, and she does agree to give him another chance because she keeps saying that he's a good guy. But in the same, you know, token, she's saying that, you know, when he drinks, he is like that, how we saw him last week. So I don't know. I guess the money may be a trade-off, but I don't know. But anyway, he gets really, really creepy, and he's telling her, you know, he grabs her hand and he's like, yeah, you know, he starts talking all low and just nasty. I guess it was him trying to be sexy, but it was just cringy. And basically he was just telling her, you know, he want to get out of there because he trying to get to the house and get down to that basement, because we know what goes down in the basement. But that was their story. Then we move on to Nicole and Deontay. Now, Nicole is still at the, I guess she's at the hairdresser still, and she's on the phone, you know. She's on the phone with her ex, Tia, the one that she was getting it in with in prison, and she, you know, is telling her that she really wants to see her. She wants her to come out with them, while Boo Boo the Fool sitting his dumb ass in the lobby. You know, he's just sitting there waiting on her to come out and is drooling. You know, she's got the dress on that he bought. She got the extensions in her hair that he paid for, you know, and he is just like trying to do everything to keep his mouth from hitting the floor, basically. So he's just staring at her, and, you know, she was like, you know, you like my hair and everything. And she's like, my hair's up here. And he just looking, y'all already know where he looking, because he only got one thing on his mind. But they go to like this restaurant, and he wants her to meet Derek. And we know Derek from a few episodes ago, because Derek is not buying this story at all. Derek knows that that woman is looking for a come up, and she just found, you know, the fool to give it to her, which is his boy Deontay. So he takes her and her other friend, the one that was locked up with her. They go out. I don't know if it was like a double date kind of deal or what, but they're both there, and like Derek is like grilling her. He is giving her the third degree. I mean, he ain't sugarcoating it. I mean, he just letting her know, you know, I think this is just, you full of it. You don't love him. And she was like, I do love him. And, you know, she obviously is lying, and he's not buying any of it. And all the while you got Boo Boo the Fool sitting over there just looking dopey as hell. And then her friend trying to co-sign. She like, yeah, she does. All she did was talk about him while they were locked up. Probably, yeah, I got this fool sending me all this money and this, that, and the third. So she probably did talk about him, but not in the way that they're trying to make it seem. So she steps out because like she kept looking around, and, you know, Deontay wanted to know, you know, what you looking for? Because she's looking all up and around, you know, she trying to see what she can see. And then she tells him that her friend may show up. Her friend might come. And he was like, what friend? And she was like, you know, my friend Tia. I told you about her before. And he was like, no, you didn't tell me about no Tia. But she was like, I did tell you about her before. We were locked up together. And so he asked her, you know, did you sleep with her? And she was like, yeah, but that was a long time ago. It was before you, and all this other stuff. Lying again. And he was kind of in his feelings about that. And so she steps outside, and she steps outside to call Tia. And, you know, Tia tells her that she can't make it. And while she on the phone with Tia, who pops out? Deontay. He pops out, want to know what you out here doing, you know. And it just looks so scary because he has like these eyes, like the crazy eyes, and like that goofy ass smile. He just really looks like spooky to me. And he was like, you know, who you on the phone with? Why you out here? And she was like, I was talking to my friend and blah, blah, blah. So they outside arguing and stuff. And he was like, oh, but you can sleep with her, but you can't sleep with me or something. And she was like, I told you I'm not comfortable with sleeping with you right now. And he was like, oh, but you comfortable with me spending my money on you. And then she's like, I didn't ask you to spend no money on me and blah, blah, blah. Probably lying, but anyway, he is like, you know, he keep bringing up that money because at this point, I think in the back of his mind, he's starting to feel used, as he very well should. I mean, you spending all this money on this girl, and she is obviously not trying to sleep with you. She can make up every excuse in the book as to why she's not, and he is starting to feel it. He might look dumb, and he may act a little dumb, but he is not like 100% dumb. He might be like, what, maybe 70, I'm going to say 79% more so, close to 80% dumb. But the other, like, you know, 19, 20% or 20%, yeah, 21%. Look at me trying to call him dumb, and I can't even do my math. But anyway, I blame it on the alcohol. But anyway, you know, he is, you know, trying to, he putting two and two together slowly but surely. But anyway, you know, he is like, you know, you can't even sleep at my house. You know, you've been out for some days or whatever, and you can't even do as much as to spend the night with me and all this other stuff. So she was like, I'll stay with you, because now she's starting to get a little worried because she know, you know, he gonna close that wallet in a minute. So she was like, I'll stay with you, but I can't guarantee. I'm gonna have to see how I feel, whether I sleep in the room with you or if I sleep in the guest room. And I mean, we all know the whole time you're gonna sleep in the guest room, but you'll say whatever to shut him up and make him feel all right. She claims, you know, you don't have to spend another dime on me and I'll still love you and blah, 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 another lie. So anyway, they go in and tell the friends they're about to bounce, you know, nice meeting you or whatever. And Derek is just like, yeah, this ain't gonna last. I know, you know, she in it for all the wrong reasons or whatever, but whatever. And so they get to the house, and, you know, he thinks it's about to get ready to go down. He got her on the couch and got her feet kicked up on him. And then he like, why don't you come here or something? And she like, what? I'm already here. And he want her to come close, and he trying to, you know, kiss her. They kissing and just nasty. And then he put her on top of him, and she ain't trying to sleep with you. So, you know, she tell him, you know, I'm not comfortable. I'm just not, this damn fly. I'm not comfortable. And so he goes ahead and they get ready for bed. And when she was walking to the room, she had like a spot on the back of her dress. Like, I don't know if she sat in something or kind of peed on herself or was sweating or what, but she had like a stain on the back of her dress. And I don't know why I looked at that, y'all, but But anyway, she sleeps in the guest room, and old Deontay is just, you know, forced to break out Nicole Jr. again, because he good and hard at this point, I'm sure, and he gotta do what he gotta do, I guess. So she goes to the room, and she calls her ex, Zach, and tells him how she misses him and can't wait to see him and all this other stuff. So she giving Zach big energy, while Deontay in the other room having relations with this little bitty rubber toy. But that's neither here nor there. She says she gets off on, you know, creeping around with her exes, and she know that Deontay is a good person, and she probably, you know, could see herself spending the rest of her life with him. But she want to play around with her exes for a while. And so that's where we end up leaving Nicole and Deontay. So then really quickly, we see Brittany and Ray. They're FaceTiming. Ray tells her that, hey, I'm coming home tomorrow. And after, being in the halfway house for 2 months. So they, talk about the terms of his house arrest. She's excited because she gonna have, in-house D literally like all the time because he can't leave. He can't go nowhere. He can go in the backyard, I think the front yard or something, but he can't leave the house. And so she's excited about that. He says that he's kind of happy to be, home, and they get to really be around each other. And I guess they gonna be getting to know one another and having lots of sex and this, that, and the third. I mean, she think it's, all fun and games now till he get frustrated as hell that he's stuck in the house all the time and he gonna feel like a prisoner again. So I don't think that this gonna be a good idea either, but we gonna see. So she said that, she's excited that she'll be able to physically be with him in a sexual way. They've been doing little things here and there. She said she got like a ring light, and so he could see the cooch, I guess, high def and up close and personal. And she bought toys and all this other nasty stuff. I guess she be, doing the thing for him on over the phone or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, but she's just excited that she will have the D under the roof very soon. So he asked her, if her parents are excited about meeting him, and she lies and says yes, because her parents have no intentions on meeting Mr. Ray. They don't want to do it. They think their daughter is crazy for, entertaining this man behind bars, and they just think that she can do a lot better or make better choices, and she thinks that she has made the better choice. But he don't know they don't want to meet him yet. I guess he'll find out sooner or later. So then it's the day of the release. And it's got to be early in the morning because it's still dark outside. And her sister is there. And her sister, I guess, is helping her get ready. Her sister agreed to do her makeup for this, I guess she wanted to look cute for her boy when he came out. And so sis is doing her makeup, and her sister also doesn't think that it's a good idea for him to be confined to her house. But Brittany thinks, it's a great idea. And plus side, she said, well, it's too late now anyway. So we're kind of stuck to whatever she said. But she just dumb as hell. So it is what it is. So we end with her at the, we end their story with her, she done pulled up to the halfway house, and she looking in there. She see him getting ready to come out, and she's excited. And then who pulls up but grandma? Grandma pulls up in the pickup truck just to smile, and grandma ready to get her baby. And so I don't know if Ray didn't tell Brittany that he was going to grandma's, or he didn't tell grandma he was going to Brittany's. I don't know what's what, but we're going to find out sooner or later when the two of them collide, because Brittany about to go confront grandma about coming to get him. So then we have, who do I want to talk about? Oh, I'm going to talk about Rachel and Doug. I'll get to the dumbest MF last, but I'm gonna talk about Rachel and Doug. Doug wants to surprise his family, this weekend, and he wants to go and see them. The problem with that is Doug's not supposed to be out on the weekends. I guess he's supposed to be at home. And not only is he supposed to be at home, he definitely isn't supposed to be in another city, because I think they're in Warren and he's trying to go to Kalamazoo, which is like 2 hours and something away from one another. I'm also from Michigan. I may have mentioned that I live in the South now, but I am from Michigan, and I'm very close to Warren as well. I know y'all hear, Jay Lee. I think she's from like Detroit. But yeah, I used to live, close to those areas also. But anyway, his PO's not answering the phone. And he leaves a voicemail, and he's just basically telling her in the voicemail that he getting ready to go out of town. This the address he gonna be at. You know, he telling her how the cow eats the cabbage. He gonna let her know what he gonna do, not what the terms of his parole is, but he gonna tell her what he gonna do right now. He said because his dad is sick and he don't know how many more opportunities he gonna have to see him. So basically they just gonna have to deal with it. You know, Rachel is not comfortable with this side of him because he's being defiant, you know, and this is something that could definitely land him back in the slammer. And, you know, she is not, you know, happy about it. And I guess she feel like ain't nothing she can do about it because she sure, you know, loaded him and his son up in that Cadillac and they went on to Kalamazoo. So she takes him down there to see his dad and them. And she's nervous because she feels like he's stepping back into his past. You know, he's going to be around the people, the places, and the things that keep him in trouble. And so she's afraid to bring him back into that environment. But Doug is a grown-ass man. Doug going to do what he want to do. And he obviously just showed you that you or his parole officer can't stop him from doing that. So I guess she just, you know, she got right so she wouldn't get left. I don't know. But anyway, he kind of talks about his life growing up, how they didn't have anything, how they grew up in one of the poorest parts of the city, and how welfare basically saved their life. If it wasn't for welfare, he didn't know where his next meal was going to come from or, you know, how they would survive. So he basically just said he came from the bottom. And so they pull up and he greets his dad. He says, "What's up, you old son of a bitch?" So that's how he greeted his dad, who he hadn't seen in years. Those are your first words to your dad. That's like, I guess, a testament of how they grew up. I mean, it just shows you how they grew up. I mean, just cussing and talking crazy in front of your parents, to your parents. And I don't know, that was just wild. So, you know, they're crying and happy to see each other. You know, the family's crying, the sisters, the brother, you know, everybody is just happy that he's home. You know, they hugging little Dougie and whatnots. And we got Rachel, you know, she hugging some kids because apparently Rachel has brought Dougie there a few times to visit the family since he's been with them. And all of them, I mean, nobody, I don't know, I guess ain't nobody wearing masks no more, or they didn't really strike me as the type that wore them in the first place. But it was just, it's always weird for me to see when nobody in like a setting is like protected like at all. Nowadays it freaks me out. But anyway, I'm getting off subject. But anyway, you know, his sister kind of tells, you know, the producers, you know, she just wonders how long he'll be home. Everybody knows that Doug doesn't stay out for a long time. He's made that clear to us. You know, the longest he was out, you know, one time was like 41 days or something. And he's missed a great deal of his child's life being locked up. And he claims that he's not gonna get into any trouble. But you're saying this while you're violating parole. So I don't know how that works. But anyway, his family basically knows he hit the jackpot with Rachel. They know that she has more to offer him than they ever could, than he could ever offer himself. And he is basically, they're like, you know, I hope she can turn you around. But Rachel don't seem like she got much control over Doug either. And I honestly don't see them lasting. I don't see them lasting. I mean, I just don't. But we'll see. But anyway, his dad, who we see, he says his health is declining. His dad is suffering from like some stage of liver failure. And he said that his dad looks pretty bad compared to the last time he saw him. And he just looks kind of frail and fragile where he used to be strong and mighty or whatever. But anyway, he just basically is trying to stay out of trouble so he can be around them as long as he can, XYZ. And he gets into this argument with his sister because his sister says that she found some old letters that Lil Dougie wrote. And I guess he was talking about how horrible it was staying there with her, and Lil Dougie like got real disrespectful and was like, I ain't playing with you, don't take them letters out. Like, I mean, it was like crazy. Like, he was like going off. And so, you know, he was crying and showing out, and Rachel was hugging him, trying to console him. And so the other sister, Crystal, she interjects and she just says, you know, Ashley used to treat him like crap. And, you know, he was like, well, Ashley stepped in and took care of him when nobody else would. And Ashley's the other sister. And she was like, nah, you know, Ashley used to treat him like crap. And he was like, well, she took him. And so she was like, well, I would have took him, but I'm married to a felon. And I'm just like, oh, well, yeah, you didn't need to take him. But it was just like a big old crazy argument. He just went off on his sister and told her to shut the F up, B. I mean, he was just like talking crazy. And so now, you know, this happy family reunion has now turned into probably the norm around there. Everybody fussing and cussing and fighting because that's how they came up probably. But that's where they ended, and he was talking about something about going back to jail and all this other crazy stuff. Well, he probably should have stayed right on up in Warren. This might not have been the best, you know, day to go and visit when the whole family was around. But lastly, we got Anissa and Jeff. Now, this is why they called this episode the halfway handoff. Now, Jeff calls Anissa and he tells her that he has a day pass and that he gets to go out for 3 hours and he wants to hang with her. And she wants to take him to get like some clothes or something. I guess she wanted to take him shopping or whatever. And so she done drove all the way to where he is, which couldn't have been close to where she lives. He calls her and tells her, babe, I got some bad news for you. And so she was like, what's up? You know, what's going on? He was like, I ain't gonna be able to see you. And she was like, well, why not? He tells her, they need to put an ankle bracelet on me, ankle monitor on me, and they ain't got time to do it today, so I can't go out. So she was like, well, damn, I done drove all this way and I can't see you. That really sucks. And so he was like, you know, yeah, well, ain't nothing we can do about it now. I said it sucks, yeah, but I need some money. You need some money? Yeah, I need, you know, she was like, well, what happened to the $100 I gave you? You know, I spent it, you know, it's already gone. You know, you don't want your man to go hungry, do you? That's code word for you don't want your man not to get his drugs, do you? Because Christiana from the other one done already told us what go down in the halfway houses. So we already know y'all in there dealing drugs, you're taking drugs, and everything else. You know, these halfway houses, they wild too. So we already know what you're doing. I mean, look at you. We can tell. So she had brought him like a bag of, I guess, like toiletries or essentials or whatever. So he tells her that the security guard, she can't come in. The security guard wants her to leave the money and the bag on the picnic table, and he'll come and get it and I guess bring it to Jeff. So she kind of hangs out and look, you know, she goes and she does it like a dummy. And she comes back and like, I don't know if she could see it or if it was just the camera people, but Jeff brings his ass out there and picks up the stuff. Jeff just didn't want to see her, and he's playing her again. And I really, really, really hope that Kyle won that little tussle that they got in that we saw, because this ninja is no good. And I really hate that. I really, really hate that because, you know, and she talking about she ain't had sex in 6 years. She ready to have sex and XYZ. But I really, really hope that she gets away from him because he is no good. And that's where the episode ends. This is a long review just because I felt like talking tonight. But anyway, if y'all want to talk about anything, let's do it in the comments. Y'all always know I don't get that many, so I'm very responsive. But anyway, I thank y'all for watching if you made it this far. And I will be here all weekend. I probably will pump out about 4 more videos this weekend. So make sure y'all come back for all of those. And with that being said, I am out of here. I'm going to finish my little drink. Go watch the opening ceremonies in the Olympics. And y'all have a great night. Peace.